What's up, Muscle and Strength? Hunter Labrada here at Destination Dallas. Just got done warming up, about to train push. So train on a push-pull, arms, legs split. Today's push. I'm gonna train the whole training cycle here this week. So today will be chest, shoulders, and then weighted dips at the end. So a little bit of triceps, but mainly chest and shoulders. Show you what the workout looks like as we go through it. I used to train on your prototypical bro split. For the longest time I trained chest and triceps on Monday, quads and calves on Tuesday, took Wednesday off, trained back and biceps on Thursday, shoulders and triceps on Friday, hands and calves on Saturday, Sunday off, repeat. Well, my back is shit. It still is. It was really extra shitty a couple years ago though, so I needed to increase the frequency on my back. So Sunday, the off day, became the secondary back day. So I went from having 5 days on and 2 days off a week to training 7 days in a row because of that. So the volume got a little bit too high, my recovery started slipping. It also didn't really make sense to me for me to be training chest and for my shoulders to be a couple sets of laterals and a couple sets of presses shy of being completely blasted too by the time I get done with all my pressing movements for chest. So between those two things and the fact that that my legs are so good they don't really need to be split up, it actually, by moving to that push-pull arms leg split, it decreased the frequency on my legs a little bit and increased the frequency on my upper body, which is where I need all the weight. So that's why I moved to the push-pull arms legs. That and then having the arm day put in there, because I tried push-pull legs originally with the arm components put on the push and pull. That was too much frequency. I couldn't recover from it. So, I feel like my recovery is really dialed in, so the frequency and everything's like really spot on. Been running my training program into the dirt now for about 1.5 years, and we've just been steady gaining. The only thing that matters is my top working set and the set that comes after that. Every set prior to that, the main goal of it is to spend as little energy as possible. It's all about getting a feel for the weight. It's all about getting a feel for the exercise. It's all about, especially on the first exercise, getting blood flow. From here on out, you'll see me, especially when we go to this press, with the lighter weights, I will do a bunch of reps. As we get higher up, I'll literally do feeler sets of maybe 3 or 4 reps. Because I'm not trying to waste the energy, I'm just trying to get used to the load and acclimate and work up safely. So I'm really low volume. Like I said, the only sets that matter are the top working set and the back off. And this whole workout, we're gonna have between 8 to 10 working sets. First exercise up is by far one of my 2 favorite chest machines. This is the Prime Incline plate loaded model. As you can see, it's got the 3 arms, so we can really dial in where the load rolls on. Where I have the plate set is very much so how I want. It's lightest when the muscle's longest here because it's really kind of safe in the hole on the shoulders and chest. And as soon as you start pressing, you can see, because the farther this pin gets away from the pivot point, the heavier it gets. So you see, it gets farther away real quick. So it ends up being heaviest when you're at the really very top peak contraction. Kyle, come here. Spot me. Not till I need it.
Yep.
No. One more. No. No. That was the top set. About to hit the back off set. And for those of you wondering, like, how do I structure my back off sets, or what is a back off set? Back off set is set after the first all out set, and we'll actually reduce the weight, typically by about 15 to 20%. Basically aiming to reduce the weight enough to get between 8 and 12 reps still on the top set. One more. Up. Let's go. Whenever I'm training, the rest time varies on what we're training. The rest time, the way I train, I'm aiming to replace the oxygen deficit caused by the set I just performed. What does that look like? It's when your breathing normalizes. Your heart rate's never gonna normalize while you're training if you're keeping a proper pace, but if you're doing sets before you're done, like after your set, you're doing it too soon. You need to replace the oxygen deficit from the set before. If you're sitting there catching your breath and it's 2 minutes after you catch your breath, you're doing your set, you're waiting too long. So arm day, I might be resting 45 seconds or a minute in between sets. Leg day, when we're doing like hack squats, I might be taking 3, 4, 5 minutes in between sets. It's however long it takes my breathing to normalize. Because like I said, all that I'm after is that 1 or 2 top all out sets, and I want all the parameters to be perfect. I want to be recovered for it. I want to be ready for it. I want to be able to push myself all the way to where I need to be. Warmed up the chest on those flies, moved on to the prime incline into the prime shoulder press into dips. Why that order? We're starting out primarily pec mover. We're moving on to a primarily shoulder mover that still uses the upper chest. Then we're moving to a compound, the dips, that really utilize most of the pec, most of the shoulder, and the triceps. So we'll work up to a hard set on these. I like doing them weighted. See how the elbows are feeling after the show. Body weight felt good, so we'll see how heavy we get today. And then from there, we'll move on to some of the isolation work I do for chest and shoulders. Normally a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but those top sets will make you go places sometimes. Moving on to the isolation work for my shoulders and my chest. I'm not really one to say this is the best exercise for this or that in most cases, but this is one of those rare exceptions to that. This is the best exercise you can do for your medial deltoids. By using a cable in this setup, we can do several things. I'm on a bench. I'm completely braced. I have no ability to use any kind of body momentum or body English. Because I'm using a cable and not a dumbbell, 2 things. The bottom of the motion, where the muscle is longest and strongest, it has the most tension with the cable. Unlike with a dumbbell, you have 0 tension at the bottom. So we have tons of tension at the bottom, and as we get to the top, the tension actually rolls off with the cable as the cable gets closer to your arm and the angle decreases between the cable and your arm. Unlike with a dumbbell, where the farther you get that dumbbell away from the point of pivot, the heavier it gets. So the dumbbell lateral is heaviest where the muscle is shortest and weakest. It's a terrible profile. So by coming over here and doing them on the cables, it's braced better, it's got a better profile, you're able to get your shoulder involved more, whole 9 yards. And while it's light enough for me to be talking, the cues for this are you want to keep your shoulder girdle down and back. And then whenever you're doing it, think about reaching down, and then once you get past halfway, think about reaching out. The whole time we want to think about keeping your shoulder girdle down. The second you start getting your shoulder girdle up, it becomes a glorified shrug. We don't want to use our traps to do this. We want to use our deltoids. So we take our traps out of it by keeping our shoulders depressed and locked back. All deltoid. Coming back to that prime fly that I started with. When I started with it, it was definitely more for blood flow. Coming back to it, I'm gonna do probably one warm-up round of it and then one working round of it. I'll do the pec deck to complete failure, superset it into a push-up. I'm a really big fan of push-ups, especially at the end as a finisher, because your back isn't braced off a bench, so your scapula is actually able to move around. We're able to get a better stretch and a lot better like contraction and stretch at the end basically. It's not meant to really push the muscle to a point of failure so much as it is to stretch the muscle under load at the end. I lied, I'm taking this one all the way. All right, guys, that is a wrap on push. I'm Hunter Labrada. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to click subscribe below.